All right. Well, we're back again. We had to create another link, but that's okay. So we were talking about working out, right?
Yeah, at the gym. You were saying you were about to ask a question or something because you were saying you didn't understand. You were asking how much it cost, and that's where we kind of got cut off.
Oh no, I think we went past that. I think we went
Oh,
to the questions.
oh, we go. Okay, so we go to okay.
Yeah, because we last week we started. We were supposed to do some questions, and we got off on to questions about friendship because friendship is not the easiest thing for some, right? Some people
Hmm.
have questions on friendship. And so these are some questions I think that we should ask in our friendships. So she has them over there. Oh, yes, she has them, and she's going to read them and take these back to your friendships.
Hmm. Hmm. So it's three uncomfortable but healthy questions to ask your best friend. But I think it works for anything. I think it works for friends, relationships, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, sister, brother, anything. There's some really good questions, and it takes a lot of deep thought. Um, so the first question, number one, is there anything about our friendship or my behavior that you've been hesitant to address or discuss? So that's looking at friendship from a behavioral standpoint.
Mhm. Okay, so any behaviors that come up that may make you uncomfortable, maybe, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
or like, like you're saying, something that's raising a red flag that, it might cause for you all not to be as close, but you need to talk about it because it might be something that no one has ever mentioned to that person before. So it does not mean that they can't change. It might just mean that they don't know that they need to change.
and then if they need to change, right? Because
Right.
maybe for them, maybe they need, so that's kind of difficult, right? Maybe they need to change for this relationship.
Well, I think that if somebody told me something about myself that they were hesitant to address with me, I would see if someone else has mentioned that to me before. Or if it's something that I know I struggle with, then I will be more open to hear it. But if it's something that I'm hearing for the first time and I think about it and it makes me uncomfortable to change it, then I just think that that means that that person might want me to change for the relationship and not for me as a person.
That was a whole lot that you said. um, yeah, so I guess how do you know in friendship when it's something you should change?
I think that when someone, like I was saying, if okay, so say Tyrone has been telling you something about yourself, right? And you like duly noted, you love Tyrone, you know he not gonna tell you anything wrong. And so then say I come and say the same thing. I don't think that you would be changing for our friendship. I think that you would be changing for you
Because
to
I'm
make
seeing.
you a better person. Yeah.
Mhm,
Because Tyrone has already mentioned it to you, so you're aware,
mhm.
especially the older you get, because the older you get, history has a tendency to repeat itself. So the older you get, the more familiar you become with yourself,
Mhm.
your good and your bad, your strengths and your weaknesses. So more than likely, if it's something about you that needs to change as a person, it's not the first time you've heard it. Now, it might be the first time you want to accept it, but
Mhm.
it's usually not the first time you've heard it, especially if you have a relationship with God, because that's just what the Holy Spirit does.
I get it. And I the crazy thing, well, so Tyrone is a friend of mine, but I don't look at him.
Hmm.
I didn't look in this aspect of friendship, right? But
Hmm.
that would make sense because that's probably where I would hear it first.
Yeah, because he's the closest to you.
Yeah.
And
And
so he's going to see things about you before anybody else.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, so that makes sense. So we discussed these questions, what was it, like 3 weeks ago or whatever?
Mhm.
Maybe three,
Mhm.
4 weeks ago. I don't. me personally don't see any behaviors. And part of the thing is because we're not close enough, like we have this distance, right? So we don't
Mm-hmm.
get to really see a lot of behaviors of each other.
Right, because that's what behavior is
Yeah.
how you act. But if we only see each other on here once a week,
Exactly.
then we only see how we act right now. So it
Exactly.
could be so much else going on, but because we don't see each other enough to be like, hmm,
It
okay,
does
she keep doing
to for
that.
something to pop up for us,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think not in the behavior aspect, but that aspect of our friendship. And I don't know what we can do with it right now. It's really not something that we can do unless we intentionally set times where we're going to one either expand from one time a week,
Mhm.
to maybe meetups, and that can
Mhm.
be expensive. So, it's kind of difficult right now.
Yeah, I think that when you move, I think it'll be a lot easier because we won't be states away from each other.
Right.
We'll be a state, like just, crossing over the border then.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a lot easier for us to meet up,
Yeah.
especially because you're going to the beach. So I won't mind coming to the beach.
You know?
Yeah. And so
Right.
it'll be a lot easier to pick up on cues and things like that.
Hmm.
And I don't even think it'll be behavioral to where it'll be things that irritate us just because we're both counselors in that field. It wouldn't be irritation. I think it would be more of like concern.
Hmm.
Like she keep doing that. No, but you have picked up on some of my behaviors. You just handle
You
it
said
right away.
what?
You have picked up on some of my behavior. You just handle it right away. Like me not getting rid of things. That's a behavioral thing.
Oh, that, yeah. See, that's like a natural thing for me. Yeah, I don't even think about that, but it is a behavior, right?
Hmm.
But that wouldn't bother me.
That's what
It's
I'm
just
saying.
something that
Hmm.
maybe you weren't aware of. So the behavior doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bother to you,
Mm-mm.
right? It's just something that you may see, and maybe that person doesn't know it, or they need to hear it from their friend, because it could be that somebody else shared it with them and they just like, it doesn't
Well,
affect me or impact me.
right. Or you might be around some of the same people that do some of the same things. So it could be a behavior that needs to be addressed. But if they're doing the same thing or worse, then they're not going to even be aware enough to let you know of that
Mm,
behavior.
I wouldn't have thought about that, but yeah, because you're comfortable in that other friend group or with those others doing that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So why would they point out something that they're doing too?
Yeah.
I was listening to this reel earlier today, and it was like this guy, because graduations are coming up and everybody's trying to get together, and they were talking about setting boundaries
Hmm.
around that. And he was like, Mom, Dad, Uncle such and such wants to come to the house. And they was like, no, because he smokes weed and he drinks, and we don't allow that in our house. And it was
Hmm.
like, because and he's just looking at like because he goes to other people's houses and they do it there. He doesn't understand why it's such a big deal, but it's a
Hmm.
big deal when you surround yourself around people who don't do it. And really what they're doing is trying to bring awareness to the fact that when you do that you act like a fool, you
So
know
they said that the uncle couldn't come to the
yeah.
house, period.
No, he couldn't come because he said that he was not comfortable coming to the house and not being able to smoke weed. And they were
Oh,
like,
in their
you can't,
house.
no, like even outside. He was like, my neighbors don't smoke. I hate the smell of smoke. Like, no, I don't want you smoking at my house. And that was his boundary.
Mm.
And the reason why they set that boundary is because he acts a certain way when he
Once he
gets under
smokes.
the influence of drinking and smoking. And so he was like, they was like, no. And they were both, the husband and the wife was both like, no, we're not allowing that in our house.
See, and so that can be tricky, right? When let's say the husband and wife feel differently.
That is an issue that the husband and wife have to come, because that is behavioral.
Yes.
That is behavioral. My husband had to get me to see that. I had family members that would come in our house, and anytime they had something to drink, or something to smoke, or edible or whatever, they tearing up stuff in the house.
Oh no.
And
Uh,
James was like, they can't come back no more.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic right there, right? Like differences of boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I may see as should be a boundary, and if my husband don't see it, then y'all got to figure out some type of
Compromise.
yeah.
You got to have a compromise, and I think that, but it's just important. Like we're talking about with behaviors. Why I tell Kaden all the time, you have to watch your behavior because it affects who you are around. Like if you decide to act a certain way, then you have to know that that might come with not hanging out with certain people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Or if yeah, because certain people you may act differently around. I can remember while I was going through after my divorce and then as I was healing, right? Like having different people that I was hanging around. And I noticed that I would change,
Mm-hmm.
so really you have to be cautious of who you are around because one thing is easy for bad to influence good
Then for good
more
to
so than good to influence that bad. I don't know what that is, why, but it's so easy to pick up those bad habits.
So you have to be aware of situational awareness. You have to be tuned into situational awareness.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I'm in this situation right now. How much am I changing based off of this situation? And do am I comfortable with who I am right now? Is this changing me for the better, or is this changing me for the worse?
Right. So those are questions, yeah, I should have had. And now I ask myself, not consciously, but I do, right? Like I may even, before I even go somewhere, like, yeah, I don't even know how I'm going to respond in that type of environment. So
Right.
I don't want to go,
You
right?
don't want to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. And that could be just, me not, I don't want to say trusting myself, but the trust is that, hey, you do know some of your old ways. So you probably don't need to be in that situation.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. And because our bodies are triggered by certain things.
Hmm.
And no matter how strong you are, when you expose yourself to certain things and certain situations, it's much easier, like you said, to go back to default back to that
Yeah.
than to stay where you are.
Yeah, it's a book that says your body remembers. So
Yeah.
instantly, if you go back into a certain scenario situation where you used to act a certain way, it's easy for your brain to just be like, "Oh, this what we do. This what we do in this environment."
And then you're comfortable. And you're comfortable because that once was your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So you're comfortable in that. In
Hmm.
that moment, and then you get out of it. I've had situations where I've been very comfortable in a situation until I get out of it. And then I'll come home at night and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what was I thinking?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So asking those questions beforehand, of yourself, like, or even when you're there in the environment, you may catch yourself, just acting out of character, your now character, you know,
Yes.
and then it's like, okay, what you doing? You
Yeah, you got
know,
to check yourself.
exactly.
You have to
Yeah.
check. I think in now that we're as close as we are, if I think that I'm going to go into an environment that's going to like invoke the old versions of myself, I think that I would tell you about it. I think having an accountability partner is key. So that, hey girl, I'm about to go somewhere. I'm really trying not to drink anymore, but I'm about to go
Mm,
to the bar and hang out with some people. And because I like the bar just automatically puts me in the sense of wanting to drink,
mm,
then I'm gonna need you to check in with me. I'm gonna need you to make sure I'm okay. Or I agree, okay, I'm only going to do one drink, or I'm gonna have nothing. Like from the beginning I say that,
Mm-hmm.
and then you check in with me, or I check in with you, I have a one drink and I'm done, or I'm 30 minutes in, I haven't had anything to drink, I'm drinking my water, I'm sending you pictures of it, and not just completely engulfed and making sure that you know that I'm okay, but it's just every now and then just a check in,
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't fall back into those bad habits.
Yeah. Well, for me, I changed the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know any place now that, well, before would have been probably the strip club, going
Mm-hmm.
to the strip
Mm-hmm.
club because I'm gonna
Yeah.
be a fool up in there. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know about now, I don't
Yeah.
know how I
Yeah.
would be, but
Yeah.
before, yeah, okay. So
Yeah. I get
I
it.
changed the people who I was around. I'm not around people who that I know of that would, well, I don't know. Because me and my husband might go. I don't know, right? But we
Yeah.
haven't been.
You just
So,
haven't been.
yeah. So,
Yeah. I used to have to force Jack, like, babe, let's just go. Let's just
mm,
go. I was
mm,
the one that liked to go, and he was just like,
mm,
okay, whatever. And so, but when I stopped, like you're saying, when you stop hanging around certain people
yeah.
who that is their favorite pastime,
Hmm.
then you find yourself being like, man, I ain't been up in there in a minute.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now there's no place that I can see where I would probably have to check in.
Mm-hmm. I know me. If I go to the bar with just, I don't care if it's new people, old
Mm.
people, whatever, it because I'm a social drinker. So
Oh,
I'll just sit there and just, oh, let me get a margarita. Oh, and then if somebody buy me that had 3 drinks, I'm like, as they're ordering, I'm like, oh yeah, let's order a drink. And I'm like, I don't drink like that.
mm,
I don't
oh,
drink like that.
hmm,
And I will not. I have a whole cabinet out there, a whole liquor cabinet with the Bartista, everything. And I probably use that thing once a year. I
mm,
probably go in my liquor cabinet every so often. Like I'm not an at-home drinker. But if I go out, even if I go out with the family and I have to watch it, because Kate is like, oh, I know you about to order a drink. Whenever we go out to eat, I'm ordering me a drink. And I'm like, am I asking to go out to eat just so I can have a drink? Because I have a lot of liquor at my house that I need to get. Why
mm,
am I spending $10 a drink
mm, or more?
or
Girl,
more?
we went to this bar. Well, it was a bar and grill. The drink was $28.
Oh no. Yeah.
Never in life.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't ask because Tyrone, he just gonna order. He wants something, he just gonna order, right? So he ordered. The bill came back 60 something dollars for 2 drinks. I said, wait, hold on. No, three, because he had a beer and 2 drinks. I said, how is this beer 60 something dollars? I mean,
Right.
how is this tab 60 something dollars? No, we ain't talking about that right now. Did we, I'm like, yeah, we are,
We
cause
are.
I want to know. Now, the drink was hella good. I ain't even gonna lie. Like that drink was amazing.
It was good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not for $28 worth.
I think that's my problem. I need to be a bartender or something because I just feel like I can't make the drinks like they make them.
Oh
That's my problem.
my goodness! I was like, I don't
Yeah.
know what y'all did there, cause I like what are they called? Lemonades.
Lemon drops.
Lemon drops. I like
Yeah.
lemon drops, right?
Yeah.
So this one, it was made it wasn't in the proper glass. But when I tell you, girl, it wasn't in the proper glass, and it was like a glass for cognac or something, right? And
Okay. Because it usually comes in the martini glasses.
it was like this much in the glass. This much for $28. But it was good. It was good, good.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Yeah. They probably use very top shelf alcohol in
you better have for $28. For
they
$28.
had it on chill, girl.
My goodness. So I would say maybe not a bar, but I drink, and not to blame Tyrone, but I drink because he come in almost every day and have a drink. Not
Mm-hmm.
almost every day. He come in
every day.
every day and have a
He
drink,
want
and
that
then
drink.
he'll make me one, or either I'll see him and then I'll be like, "What you drinking on?" Then I'll go get one, right? So I
Yeah.
could see that, like going to a bar, if I see him ordering, I'm ordering, and I'm not really a drinker
Mm-hmm.
like that anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, anymore because I used to, but you know, so you do have to be careful of influence. Who's around.
James just came in.
Hey, James.
Um.
Hey.
Yeah, you do. And so that's why I'm like, and I think I influenced James. I think it's opposite. Like
Mm,
James is saying, I ain't drinking no more. I ain't drinking no more. And
mm.
I will not make that vow because I just know me. And so he'll be on the I'm not drinking no more tab. And then we'll go out and I'm like, okay, let me order blah blah blah. And then James be like, hey, let me get one of them. I'm like, I thought you weren't drinking no more.
Yeah, see, I don't now that part I don't say, right? In my head, I'll say this was good enough, right? Like if we usually go like to a place like Uncle Julio's, they're like a Mexican restaurant, right? And they have the swirl. So we get
Oh,
an
the
extra shot
margarita.
on top.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
See, you
And then
what you made me
I'd be
get a
like, well,
drink
this is
today.
good for me. I don't need anything else. But then he ordered another one. Well, if you order another one, then I'm gonna get another one, right? So I don't say to myself, I'm not going to order another one. I don't say that. I don't say that out loud. I just do it. I'm 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 influenced by Tyrone, I guess.
My husband is influenced by me. I, because I don't think, like I said, I, at this point in my life, I know my limit. And that's what we talk to Kaden about often.
Mhm,
Like knowing your limits and knowing when enough is enough. So
mhm.
I'm not, that's why I'm saying if I'm somewhere and I'm drinking 3 and 4 drinks, I'm probably very anxious or nervous. And I'm just trying to like fit in more with the crowd. Usually I can
Oh,
get one drink and I'm okay. I'm
mhm,
good.
mhm.
But girl, when I'm with people, if I have to drink that much, that means I'm uncomfortable. Or I'm just trying to fit in with the crowd. I'm nervous about something. I'm not I need to keep drinking to make me kind of calm my nerves down.
Hmm. Okay. I could see that. I could see that. Yeah, yeah.
Or peer
Depending.
pressure.
Yeah, that too.
Let's
That
get a
too.
shot, girl. Let's get a shot. You want a
Yeah.
shot? Yeah, let's do the shot. I'm getting one. You know what? Go ahead, bartender, bring us. And I'm like,
That's true. Right. Now that's definitely one. And I try not to give into it because, I mean, I used to give into it all the time. So I try to just like
mm-hmm.
I don't have to have that, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I give in. And sometimes the other one that you said, like being maybe in an awkward, it feels
Yeah.
awkward. I feel a little off. I'm trying to get relaxed or loosen up some.
Yeah.
I could see that. But then, I mean, definitely if I'm on vacation,
Oh,
if yeah. So vacation or if Tyrone is around and I feel safe, right? I feel
you
safe with
feel
him. So
safe. Yep.
maybe I could probably have 5 or 6
I
and be
mean,
safe.
and you with Tyrone, you with your husband. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like when I'm on vacation, we listen. We're not going on vacation if we can't get the all inclusive. Like, don't don't
Right.
even like. What's the point? Like, Jason and I was talking about vacations the other day, and we were trying. We were. You didn't watch our other pod, did you?
I didn't see it.
Oh, I didn't put it up yet. That's why.
Okay.
But anyway, so we were talking about vacations, and we have a very different opinion of vacations. And I was telling him I don't consider softball tournaments when you go out of town, even if you go into like Myrtle Beach or something, I don't really consider that a vacation.
Okay.
And what I was trying to explain to him is because I'm not up here all inclusive drinking. I'm not at the pool side. I'm not, for me, that's when I don't have to do anything but get up out my bed, put a swimsuit on, and go to the beach or wherever and lay up all day. People bring me drinks,
Mm-hmm.
or I go and order food, come back.
Ooh, I
To
got a
me,
long way to go.
to me, that's a vacation in the
Mm.
sense of, an adult getaway, you know. And so what we came to the conclusion of was that yes, there's a difference between family vacations and couple vacations. So then I told him if there's a difference, then I need to make sure that we have a couple's vacation once a year and I need a family vacation because I don't feel comfortable being that way with my daughter that I am with James.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm constantly worried about what's Kaden doing. What she, I'm
Right.
always worried. I can't be relaxed like I want to be when it's just him and I.
And I look at it like, so because we don't have little kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ours is, so every year we already know we got about 3 trips for Tyrone and racing.
Yep.
So that's, I consider that a mini break.
Yeah.
That's me
Oh
being
yeah.
able to get away from, it's not a vacation, it's a mini break. Me not having to see no clients,
Mm-hmm.
do no case notes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I call that, right?
Yeah.
Not a vacation where I'm able to just totally relax. I'm
Mm-hmm.
here enjoying myself, but it's not the same as a vacay, right? Like,
Right.
yeah, it's different.
It's different, and that's what I'm realizing because James and I have not taken a vacation. We went this year for the first time out of country
Mm-hmm.
without Caden. I think we've only done two since we've been parents, like gone away for more than a day, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And when we went to Jamaica, I was like, oh, we got to do this every year. It's a total, and I think when you really lock into being a parent and a mom,
Yeah,
it seems like that job never ends. And so when you can like break away like that,
yeah.
it is like it's a reset.
That's like you're in the dating phase.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like when I was parenting. Well, let me look. Let me not talk like that. But I'm just thinking like I had to parent all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
me and my ex, we probably only went on one vacation in the 10, 11 years that we were together. But um I would say if I had little kids, like that's the time to act a fool.
Yeah.
When I go on vacation away from the kids,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And even now, like when we actually go on vacation, and we haven't been probably in 2 years since this whole thing of us moving, right? Because we want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that that's all, everything is together for that. But when we do on vacations, that's time for me to just clown.
Just let go.
Yeah,
Just let go.
yeah,
You don't know these people. You're not gonna come back there for a while, like because that's another thing. James making our business, we making our business to go somewhere different. When we
yes. Same
go
with us.
somewhere different.
Yeah,
So you're just here. They don't
yeah,
know. As long
yeah.
as you don't do anything to get arrested, then
Right,
you good. Like
right.
have fun.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you though. So if you had a friend that had habits like smoking a lot,
Mm-hmm.
drinking a lot, you know, having sex a lot, you know, how would you address that with them? Or would you?
Um, See where I am now. Well, I used to be that one.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh,
I have to really look at myself from therapist mode almost because if they are my friend, I want to love them where they're at. I want them to be themselves, be allowed to be themselves. Now, I'm not saying that I would be in agreement with those things, but at the same time, it's not about me, it's about them, right? And so
mm-hmm.
I would like to be the type of friend who allows them to be them. But if they are open to having conversations on it, or we get on those type of conversations, right? Then I'm gonna share how I really feel. But I wouldn't want to judge anybody because, like I say, I used to be that friend, and I've had a friend who I was a hookah girl, baby, and I had my pen, and she was like, that's not becoming of you. That don't fit you and where you're going." And I was like,
But this is where I'm at right now.
I said, as I'm hitting the pen, baby, well, you know, this is what I like, right? And so she happened to be a pastor's wife, and I just valued her opinion, right? And so in that moment, I did look at myself, and I never went back. Like, I gave her the pen, and I gave it up. Now I ain't gonna say if I go out on hookah, because sometimes I do, but it's not an addiction anymore.
Okay.
So it just depends on that. I think that friendship, right? Like, is that person one who is open? Well, if they're in my life and a friend of mine, they must be open to hearing things because I'm sharing it out of love. I'm not
Yeah.
sharing it to hurt. So I think we would have the conversation about it, like, but I wouldn't be judgmental. I'll ask, like, maybe different questions, like, what does that do for you?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. But yeah, just trying to be open to allow, because one thing of friendship that's so important to me is, and I have to look at Tyrone, is that he allows me to be me
Mm-hmm.
unapologetically, right? I can be me. Well, now he don't like he don't like when I get drunk in public. That embarrasses him, right?
Yeah.
But it's happened,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so we still friends. Yeah.
I hope so. I hope
We
so.
still friends.
I
So
hope so.
it's like, hey, he talks to me about it. And sometimes that's what I do consciously before I go somewhere. Nope. Make sure that I want to show up the best possible me. Does
Mm-hmm.
that always happen? No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm.
But I think it's good to have those conversations. I would like to have that conversation with a friend, but not to judge, just to let them know, just to see where their perspective is.
I agree, and I think that's the hardest thing. Like you're saying, to not even come off judgmental. But if you're coming to me and you're doing these things,
Mhm.
oh girl, I got another hangover. My head hurts so bad. Oh, and then it's like, all right, this is a consequence of getting drunk every night, you know?
Mhm.
And so am I supposed to just sit here and keep telling me that you got a hangover? Because at the end of the day, you're living in the consequences of your choices.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I think that's hard because you're not coming off as judgment, or at least you're not trying to. What
Yeah.
you're trying to do is make them aware of the
Mhm.
fact that this is going to keep happening to you if you keep doing that.
Mhm.
But at a certain point, that person has to change. And you have to decide which side of the fence you want to be on. Do you want to wait for them to change? Or do you just want to get to a place to where it's too much for you?
Right.
And that's, I think either one is fine. I think it's fine to wait for someone to change, especially if it's not messing with you mentally.
Yeah.
Um, but if it is and you struggle with it, then I also think it's okay to take a break from the situation.
I think that would mess with me mentally. I don't have, well, I mean, pretty much you're my only friend. I have other people in my life that I may hang out with every now and then, but they don't smoke, drink, or aren't or do drugs that I know of. And if they do, that's their business. But um I
They don't
just
do it
think,
enough for it to cause a concern.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm learning to mind my business, the business that pays me.
Let me
Um
tell you something. Mind your business. Mind your
yeah.
business.
So if you do that, dang it.
I think it just went out. Oh, it's still going, I think, y'all. Tony probably got another phone call that has completely blacked her out. Um, and so we're probably gonna have to disconnect and reconnect again. I think she did cut off. So I'm gonna get off of here too, and we will be back for part 3.